Hey, hey, hey. It is your Auntie Doc here live on YouTube tonight. As you guys can tell, I am I feel just the way I look. It has been insane and I have to come and share um, you know, not just the, good of real estate. I've got to share the bad and the chaos and everything else. So I am here, just finished some of my taping. That's the kitchen and stuff back there. I'm in my Missouri home. And I just had to come live and bring it to you guys raw, um, because the emotions that, are that we have to operate in, and still do business is what I want to talk to you guys live about today, because it was, from the time I got up, it's been nonstop chaos. And the one thing about dealing in chaos is that the people who you're around don't care. They really don't care. They need to, they still need their checks. They still want to be paid. People still want to return phone call and all of those kind of things. And rent is still due. Rent is still due every day. Somebody's got to pay something to do something. And so if you are so wrapped up in everything you've got going on, it's not going to work. It's going to end in disaster. So I want to take you guys. Good evening, Miss Payne. I want to take you guys through just a course of a day and then give you guys some tips on what you can do in business and still be able to show up, get the job done, check yourself. Sometimes I have to, when I'm feeling like everything is just against me and I still got to perform, I have to just remove myself from the situation for about 5 minutes, and have a pep talk with myself. Because, and my pep talks kind of go just like this: I'm looking at myself and I'm going, do you want the poor hard or do you want the wealthy hard? Those are the only two choices you have, because in life, in business, and whatever, you're always going to have these challenges. So when I have that talk with myself, I have to decide on, do I want to keep on this part of this hard, or do I want to go to this other hard? So yes, some things can be simpler in life for me, but that's also going to mean I'm not at living at that level that I've built. So I want you guys to, really pay attention to your next level of what you're doing. Some of you who are working with me, I've watched go from, your six figures up to making $1 million in a year. And one thing you probably weren't prepared for was that wealthy heart. That wealthy heart looks different than that, poor heart. So for those who understand what I'm saying, when we were younger and we were poor and we didn't know we were poor, life was great because we weren't the ones having to juggle those bills. We weren't the ones having to make sure the electricity was paid and that this bill could cover this bill. And in my where I grew up, it was Con Ed. So if Con Ed wasn't paid, you'd be without lights, right? And so I wasn't in position. I didn't need to care if Con Ed was paid. So I leave a light on, and I was living check to check. And on those 9 to 5 jobs, I'm living check to check, paycheck to paycheck. That's hard, you know. And so when I look at my life today and I'm complaining or I'm stressed or I'm ready to just go, "Ugh," I'm like, it's a different hard, but would you rather this hard or would you rather that 9 to 5 hard, that you used to have to deal with as you became a young adult? So I moved out of my house in New York in the Bronx when I was 18. And I moved just one block up because I wanted to experience living on my own. That was the one thing that happened. And then the second thing was I was fighting with my parents because they were living a lifestyle that I wasn't in agreement to, And when you're a kid, you're captive, but as I got older and I was like, I'm emancipate myself. I want to go to college and I don't want to be around these things. And so now that I look at that and I'm like, I fought so hard to get out of that space. Now my conversations with myself are, how dare I complain about this hard, about this wealthy hard. And so what a wealthy hard to me looks like, guys, is I woke up to a email of my attorney saying, the person who's trying to steal your land, this is what we have to go do. And I'm just like, I do all of this and now I got to do all of that. Then the next message was something on development project of, we're done on the phase one of this development and this, but now this person is blocking it and that kind of thing. Wealthy heart. Because again, if I looked at my poor heart, I didn't have a headache about land, somebody trying to steal my land, because I didn't own any land. I didn't have a headache about developers because I wasn't working with developers. So deciding on those two things, and that poor heart and that wealthy heart, became really, really, it really brings things back in the perspective for me. So I get up and I'd be fighting and emotionally like, oh, I want to do this. And then once I take my walk, go to the restroom, look in that mirror, and I go to the same, kid from the Bronx, you want poor hard or do you want the wealthy hard? Because it's still your choice. You can cash all your chips in and go back and do it that way, or you can count your blessings and put your big girl panties on and deal. And so I have to get up every day and deal. Another thing that happened while I was doing all of that is I have been waiting on the state to send me information in Florida. In the state of Florida, because of how their tax systems and stuff are done, there's no, a lot of states, you pay state taxes for this and employment and all this other stuff. And then Florida's and something else. Now, for those people who are watching who may be in real estate and have several broker's licenses, you'd understand if you are living in multiple states or operating businesses in multiple states, you got to keep up with the state laws, not just the real estate side of the business, but also payroll. How is that done? State taxes. How do you have to keep up with those? Because everybody wants their money. But in the state of Florida, it is so, they serious because they're not getting the income tax stuff and all that. So they want the other tax stuff. So, in the long story short, guys, I found out that there was some information that was being reported incorrectly. They had my address incorrectly. They had all this stuff going on, and they had seized and put a stop on my checking account, put a lien on something else. And I'm going, wait a minute. This is so trying to deal with all of that because I couldn't get anybody on the phone since last week. And then it comes up today when they make the call. And now I got to spend all of this time on the phone with them saying, no, look at it this way. This is not what happened. This is what's going on. Here's this, here's this. And I'm running right into smack into Compass coaching and all of that kind of stuff. And, you name it, what's going on. I'm ordering food from Instacart and it's been sitting out there. I go out to get the bag. One of the bags had bread in it and some animal or the birds, I don't know, attacked my bread, took my bread apart. You name it, could have taken me over the edge today because having the Florida state looking for you, all kinds of craziness. Guys, when I tell you, I know I'm not the only one who gets up every day, and we have to fight. We have to fight for our sanity. We have to fight for our peace, all of those kind of things. But at the end of the day, and I'm not at the end of my day, I just felt a need to come and share this because I feel like there's so much stress that comes on to, especially women, that we are managing households. I'm managing households. My son is working from home during the day this week. He decides I've got one who's doing workout wherever is going on. So you got to be accessible to them. You got to manage the household, the business, the spouses, the parents, the everything, and run your business. Right. So, and then people don't expect you to be emotional. But screw that. Screw that. I used to do it all the time. If I was going to a meeting, a couple of the things that would help me is that I get in the car, knowing I might have been, I don't even sometimes remember getting in the car or driving to where I had to go because my mind was racing with so many things. But one thing I would always do is get there in enough time to pull that visor down, pull out my compact, and make sure I did not look like what I was going through before I stepped into that meeting. So I'd have a little talk with myself and I say, girl, it's game on. There is no plan B in this. You cannot go live with your parents. You have to fight through this. You were not brought this far surviving everything that you survived to give up. So do what you got to do. And sometimes that pep talk that I'd have with myself would mean I'd have to reapply my mascara because I'd be there bawling for 5 minutes and letting those tears go to release. And for some reason or another, tears give me strength. It's like I am crying that burden off of me and the frustration off of me, and then something happens spiritually for me. I don't know if it's the ancestors get in there in the car with me and I can hear my grandmother and those guys rooting me on or something, but I can do a good cry if I have to, or that pep talk, and then my strut from that car to that meeting, I'm there strategically. I'm not leaving that meeting until I get what I want. And then if I get back to that car, I will drive a block before I have another scheduled nervous breakdown. Do you hear me? Do y'all hear me? Because what we are having to endure at this period of time between pandemics and masks and people are just cray cray all around us, we're also taking on other people's energies, and we still have to build companies, and we still have to make it work, and we still have to work that 9 to 5 and do that side hustle to make sure that 9 to 5 doesn't just close the door on us and we not have a backup plan or whatever it is. We still have to show up. Okay, so I just want you guys to know, if you have those emotional pieces that are going on and you have to take a time out for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, a day, whatever it is, go take care of it and then jump back in there. It'll be all right. The chaos will be okay. I was fine putting on, I tell you, this is my war gear. I'm not doing any hair when when I'm in combat because I ain't going anywhere. I'm not doing any hair. I'm not doing any makeup. I will get back to that later. If my hair's gray, I can go to the salon when I get it together. For now, I'm in combat and I need to push through to get my team where they need to go, not just me. There's a lot of people counting on me. And so sometimes you just have to tuck those emotions over here until you can get back to them if there's business right in front of you. Because at the end of the day, the person on the other side really doesn't care. They don't care about your nervous breakdown. They really don't. They just wanted to know, did you meet the deadline and do you have a check for us? So that they can take that check and go feed their family. Okay? So go do what you got to do and take care of your piece before having to deal in this in any business that you're doing, because no one is really going to care about anything happening. So just take care of you first. Remember that thing I always teach and I always say, you got to put the oxygen on you first before you can take care of somebody else. Oxygen on you before the child. That's what the airlines say all the time. Oxygen on you before someone else. So you have to figure out what's your oxygen. If you got to cry, go cry. If you got to pray, meditate, do whatever you got to do. So guys, I've got to run because I've got a bunch of stuff that I need to get done. I'm still not finished for the night. This is conference time, travel time. Everything is hitting all at one time. So I'll be up. I got to get through some emails, some messages, And I just wanted to, reach out. For some reason, there's somebody who needed to hear this message somewhere. And I will talk to you guys another time. Have a good night, guys.